Well, we live in the modern era where we're seeing technology, and that technology is being used to monitor our health. Everything from watches to bands to all kinds of assortments. And that's going to be the topic of today's show. Joining me on the program is Paul Buckley. He's Director of Sales and Marketing at Withings. Paul, your company initially has been known for in making incredible scales. I have one, which we could talk about, but you've kind of branched off. You're going. You have watches, you have blood pressure medicate, sleep, all kinds of products. But let's begin with your initial product that you started out with, which is your scale, and specifically the scale scan that you have with the bar that does, gosh, all kinds of things.
Sure. Well, Jim, first off, thank you for having me on your podcast. And I'm looking forward to speaking to all your audience and telling them all about the great things about Withings. So, your scale, I don't know when you purchased the scales, but we started in 2009 creating the very first smart scale. So, Withings, quote unquote, is the inventor of the smart scale. And to most people, a smart scale really means that it connects to your phone. So not only do the scales show you all the features and all the measurements on the scale itself, but it also captures on your phone and it saves all that data day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. So you can really see your data in a longitudinal sense. And I think that's one of the most important things about all Withings products is that it's able to capture all that data over time and really show where your health is improving or maybe not improving, and you can make changes there. So it's funny you say you own the scale. So that's really where I think our heart, sort of the company starts, and that's where our ethos starts right there, because that's sort of home base for most people's health is stepping on the scale every morning and getting not only just their weight, but also their vascular health indications that we can provide for them depending on which scale you purchase.
Let's talk about. I got the advanced one with the bar. Let's talk about some of
Oh, okay.
the features that that does, because most people think of a scale. Okay, it gives you my weight, but you're capturing all kinds of things from body fat to heart information. Let's speak to that.
Sure. So what you're talking about is our body scan. Now that was announced in the product. We released that in November of 2023. So body scan does three things that are very different than any other scale on the marketplace. First one is segmental body composition. So that is going to give you your muscle mass and fat mass in five regions: your right and left arm, right and left leg, and torso. And it's really important there to understand where your muscle mass is growing or if it's actually decreasing. And as you grow in age, we lose muscle mass, something like after age 65, almost 1% per year. I don't know the exact numbers, but that is something that kicks in over time. And what you really want to do is bank muscle mass and be able to have that to prevent any falls or whatnot as it comes as you age. Second thing it does is in a 30-second period, we'll do an ECG. So it's a six lead ECG there, and that is able to do electrocardiogram, and it can detect AFib, atrial fibrillation, and that is an FDA cleared feature. So the FDA has cleared the predicate on that. So that is something that if you see that when you're stepping on the scale, whether that is an alarming notification to you, you can share that information to your doctor, and your doctor can then prescribe you any medicine and what needed or any treatment to combat AFib. And then the third thing you can do is checking a little bit of bioimpedance that we have on your feet, so it can check any of the activity in your sweat glands. So that is something that is regenerative, that can be replaced over time through nutrition or just exercise. So you really want to take a look at your overall health, from the sweat glands that are happening in your feet to your muscle mass that's happening in those five regions, and then also your cardio health with the ECG. It's also looking at, of course, your vascular age. and that is the stiffness of your arteries. So we're measuring the speed of your blood up to your heart and back. And if the stiffness is there, it's going to be moving faster. And that means your cardiovascular system is moving, working a lot harder than it should be. So you can, again, make changes in your exercise, changes in your sleep, and changes in your nutrition to help improve both your sweat gland activity as well as your cardiovascular activity, as well as your muscle mass and fat mass percentages.
Paul, does this analysis work with the an app that you guys have? So I'm on my
Yeah,
scale. It's reading all this information. So interpreting that information, I suppose, is what the app is for. So it can make recommendations. Hey, your sweat glands aren't where they should be, or your arteries are stiffer, and then it makes recommendations.
exactly. So all Withings products tie into the free Withings app. You simply can just download it and then sign in, create an account and sign in. And then if you have a product, you just put the product next to the phone and it syncs up directly, and then we'll sync in all your data once you start using our products, whether it be our blood pressure monitors, our scales. We have three scales, our wearables, as well as our thermometers and sleep tracking mats. And the app is free of charge, and also all of our products, not only do they tie in together, but they bring it all together in a way that how Omnia is working. So Omnia is a product that we released at CES this year, and it's a combination of bringing together all your health data and delivering a overall health score. So we showed this at CES through a major big mirror that was sat in the show floor, and it was the hit of the show for us in our booth. But what it does is you step onto it, and essentially it's aggregating all your health data, whether you inputting your nutritional diet, also your activity through wearables, your cardiovascular health through either our wearable or through our scales, and then also through our blood pressure monitor. And then it's giving you an overall health score on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis.
I want to talk about two products. One that's available now, which is of interest to me. I've had blood pressure, and my goal is by summer to be off blood pressure medication. So I'm doing exercise, cardio, I'm doing infrared sauna, diet, these kind of things. And one of the things my cardiologist wants is he wants me monitoring my blood pressure to say that, okay, I see the trend, it's going down. So, because they just don't want you to stop taking a pill. So, let's talk about your blood pressure monitoring system because it'll actually record. And as I understand it, I'll be able to record my blood pressure. It'll take a reading and then I can record it and take over time and then send that to my cardiologist.
That's correct. So the current model that we have on the market, if you own, is called BPM Connect. And what it does is three measurements at a time, and then shows you the average of that three measurements. And that's for accuracy. We're also releasing a new product right now called BPM Vision. So BPM Vision will ask and prompt users whether they are sitting correctly, whether they had a cup of coffee recently, whether they just went up a flight of stairs. Because if they see an elevated reading, they want to track that and ask you to take another reading. So they want to really, this product wants to discount all the outlier readings and really get to a true accuracy reading that's happening for you. It's also a tabletop version. So in this tabletop version, the screen is much bigger. And although it does work with our phones, it ties into it and it captures all that longitudinal data that you can share with your doctor. But more so than that, it can show the screen and show your information there a lot easier for people who may be struggling with, having a hard time reading the readings, whether it be on their phone or either on our other monitoring systems. So this is really designed for people who want a bigger screen and want to get that information directly without going into the phone.
Now, one I'm really excited about that you're coming out with, let's talk about this, is UScan, because most people, when they go for a physical, they take a blood test, they take urine analysis. A lot of times when you're on Medicare on their wellness exams, they don't even do that. So
Yeah.
you've got a device that will analyze your urine on a daily basis. Let's talk about that. I mean, that is really cool.
Yeah, so UScan has been in development for a lot longer than we'd like to admit, for about 6 years now. We announced it at CES 2 years ago. And for those who don't know what CES is the Consumer Electronics Show that happens every year in Las Vegas. And about 5 or 6 years ago, they really started digging into inviting health companies coming into the show. And now they've had a whole dedicated section, and Withings is proud to be part of that whole thing. So thank you, PCES. But with regards to UScan is currently available in Europe. And right now it's wellness based. So it's really on your nutrition side of things. We kicked off with a cartridge called Nutrio. And so what it does, it allows you to measure all the acid and alkaline levels in your pH levels in your urine, as well as your vitamin C levels and your hydration levels. And this is just the beginning and the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, with this product. We see a lot of different elements that we added to this product throughout the years that are really help people in general making better decisions on their diets, or also detecting early stages of other disease states that, again, you can share with your doctor. I should say this, that none of the Withings products detect any diseases except for AFib on our wearables and our body scan scale. Everything else is just providing information that you can share with your doctor. And this is longitudinal health information on your body on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, that really gives a great indication of where your overall health is going with regards to activity, with regards to sleep, with regards to cardio health, with your resting heart rate or active heart rate. And again, that is all information that you can share with your doctor, and your doctor can have a better understanding of where to prescribe any medications or any treatments if need be.
What I think is really unique about your company is you're developing an ecosystem that it tracks all of the things. We talked about the scale. You've got a watch, you've got blood pressure, you've got U-scan. Because, like, for example, I've got the Aura Ring, track sleep. I've got the Apple Watch. I've got the Whoop band that tracks a number of things. What I like about your system, it's a whole health monitoring ecosystem. And the culmination, I guess, when you come out with Omnia, it will take, like, if I have the scale, if I have the blood pressure monitor, or I have U-scan, it's going to integrate all that into this device, and it's going to give me a feedback as well as advice in terms of how I can improve various health metrics.
That's correct, Jim. One thing that's different from all other companies that are in this connected health space, the fact that it's fairly new, it's about 15 years old, and it really came into existence once broadband became ubiquitous amongst cell phones and whatnot. But one thing about Withings that's different is that we're 100% health. All of our products are just about health features. You're not taking phone calls from our wearables. You're not watching TV on our blood pressure monitors or whatnot like that. It's all about health, and everything ties into our app. And our app is free. But for people who are Apple enthusiasts or Samsung enthusiasts or even Google enthusiasts, our information in our app can be shared through those apps. For example, we just did a partnership with Whoop, and we shared our information between Whoop members and people who own Withings products. So that is something that if you had a Whoop brand, you were able to get information from the scale, any one of our scales. Another example might be if you're a Peloton user and you use the Peloton app, but you might bring in Apple Health as a way to bring in all your health features. You can also bring in the Withings app to that one central location. So you can see Peloton, you can see Apple, and you can see Withings as well.
So you're telling me if I have the Whoop, or I could bring that into your app and that will be part of the health monitoring?
Actually, it's the other way around. It's with if you have a Whoop band, you can bring in the Withings readings into the Whoop app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely amazing. In terms of time frame, I know, when you're testing things, you have to get clearance and make sure everything works just as
Yeah.
you're going to project it to do. What type of, oh, I forgot one other thing too that is really I'm excited about. Let's talk about BMO.
BMO. So BMO right now is currently in the FDA approval process. So it's looking for FDA clearance in the back half of the year. But what it is for all your listeners, it's a four-in-one multi-scope. So it does four things all in one form factor. It's a digital thermometer where it started. It's a digital stethoscope. It's also can give you an ECG reading and an SpO2. So that's blood oxygen level. So you'll have a one lead ECG, which will be able to detect AFib as well. And again, it's going through the FDA process. And then the blood oxygen level really comes into play. Around COVID, it was a big thing because your blood oxygen level would get low when you either have a fever or something like COVID would affect your blood oxygen level. And then the digital stethoscope is really comes in handy if you were to do a telehealth visit and you were to use it in conjunction with the telehealth visit, but you would need to share the recordings of your heart and lungs with a doctor, and that's a feature set that's in BMO. So you would record it and then send it right to your doctor, or if you're doing a telehealth visit, you can send it to that doctor that's in the telehealth visit.
So you've been working on these things, UScan, BMO, and Omnia, which is in the development stage. If you were to project, and nobody's going to hold you to this, but I think BMO is in the second half of this year, probability. Is that correct?
Yeah, we hope that BMO will be out before the holiday. So that's our plan for this year. But again, it's all in the FDA's hands right now.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
about UScan?
UScan, we hope to have out before the end of the year as well. That will come out as a wellness feature because it's nutrition first on it. And then anything after that will need to go through the FDA process. So that process is very unclear right now exactly how long that will take. But it will keep adding cartridges to it. How that product works is that you use it in your toilet and you urinate on it on a daily basis, and then it's taking a reading on a daily basis. And each cartridge is 1 month. So you could do a nutrition cartridge 1 month, and then you might be doing a separate cartridge to look for something else on another month.
So as you add more features to UScan, this will be reflected in the cartridges you would order.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, this is incredible to see where we're going with health. It's kind of exciting in the last 15 years. We're learning about, for example, I train with oxygen. I use EWAT when I'm on a treadmill. I use a PMF mat. I use red light therapy and infrared sauna. So, all these modern devices that we're now bringing into the healthcare system, what I like about your system, it's a whole health monitoring ecosystem. So all the different devices you can think of, you have a watch just that does a lot of the same features that the Apple Watch does in terms of health monitoring. You've got the blood pressure. Now you're going to have the BMO. You've got the weight scale health scan. And what else am I
Body scan.
missing?
Yeah. So we have three scales that are at multiple price points. Body Smart is at $99. Body Comp is at 199, and Body Scan is at 399 with all the features I just mentioned. But the other product that you're missing is our sleep tracking mat. So our
Oh,
sleep
okay.
tracking mat is something that goes in between the cushions, and it is measuring the quality of your sleep every night. So whether you have deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep, how long you slept for, the duration, whether you had any disturbances, and the sleep tracking mat will actually track your snoring. So
Right.
for those out there say you don't snore, we'll catch you on this. And the great thing about it is you just plug it into the wall and you go to bed. And every night it's going to track you. And this is really good for people who don't want to wear watches to bed and also just want to be able to track your sleep over time. Another great feature to our sleep tracking mat, which is simply called Sleep, it is that it's tracking your resting heart rate and your respiratory rate too. So it's seeing how many breaths you're taking at night as well, which again is an overall indication of your overall health.
Well, what I like about all of this, okay, you're tracking sleep. I think Peter Attia when he talked about the key things for health. Number one is exercise was number one.
Yep,
Number two was diet. Number three was sleep. And so we don't realize the importance of sleep. For example, sleep apnea could actually impact things like dementia.
absolutely. So I'm a big fan of Peter Attia's podcast, and I would say, another great podcast besides yours to listen to is his. It's called The Drive. And Peter does talk about four pillars that I think that are really important for anybody at any point of their lives, but even more so as they approach their later years. The first one is exercise. The second one, and I speak to my parents about this as well. Just a walk every single day is going to, get your body moving. And also, secondly, it's going to create sleep pressure, meaning that you're going to be more tired at night. So you're going to have a better quality night of sleep. And also, exercise is going to make you hungry. And so you're going to have more desire to eat. And ideally, Peter would say, eat more protein. That's something up. Everybody can balance out whether how much protein they want. And then the fourth thing that you didn't mention that Peter does talk about is socializing, and then really maintaining a group of friends and staying active and really doing all that. And one thing I asked my mom to do is go out for a walk and talk to your friends on the phone. You're actually doing all four things at once. You're exercising, you're socializing, you're building sleep pressure, and you're building muscle mass also, and you're building up an appetite to eat.
I'm kind of excited about this. In fact, I've already registered for CES for 2026, so I'll hope to run into you guys. But as far as I know, you're about the only company I know of that is developing a health monitoring ecosystem. I mean, all the things we've talked about, body fat, AFib, heart, oxygen, urine analysis, sleep, all these devices that will be integrated into one system. So you don't have to have five or six apps or different things for the different devices that you have. Everything is integrated, which is what I like.
Yeah, it's really easy too. The setup process to use all of our products is very simple. It's not arduous. We ask you a few questions and then you're on your way to use our products. Another thing that's really important to share is that our company's mission is to work on care. And the healthcare system in the United States is really designed for the cure. So if you go in to spend that 1 hour a year with the doctor for your physical, which is a super, super important hour, if you're able to share with your doctor all the information that Withings Products is able to provide to its customers, to the doctor, that 1 hour becomes a lot more important hour now. Now the doctor can see what your readings were throughout the whole year, whether you had an AFib episode and you didn't notice it or whatnot. And then the doctor can then make a prognosis, a stronger prognosis about your overall health in general. And again, to use Withings products like our sleep tracking mat, or even stepping on the scale for 30 seconds, or wearing our wearable, it's essentially integrated into your life. And the products are beautiful looking too. So we're a French-based company, and we really want to make our products designed in such a way that you don't feel like you're wearing a medical device, yet we're actually providing deep medical insights for you on a daily basis.
One of the things I like, I've got your body scan. I am going to order the blood pressure device because that's what my doctor wants. He wants to see and track we're doing it
Yep,
before he says, okay, you can skip the medication. So our goal is by June. And I'm going to be ordering your sleep mat as well. So
great.
yeah, so let's talk about your watch. I have an Apple Watch. How would you characterize your watch from health monitoring and contrast that to, let's say, an Apple Watch?
So I get asked that question a lot because the Apple Watch is definitely a lot more popular amongst the younger audience and whatnot. And obviously, Apple has more brand awareness than Withings. We didn't talk about this, but Withings is a French-based company out of Paris, France. And we've been around for 15 years, where Apple is a much bigger company, been around for 40 plus years. So we're doing something different than Apple. Apple wants to be a Swiss Army knife, so to speak, with its product, and it ties into their ecosystem wonderfully. Withings, on the other hand, again, dedicated to 100% health insights. And because of that, we also limit the capabilities of the watch with like phone calls or listening to music. Most of those features maybe people may or may not want. And in doing so, we're able to offer something that no other wearable on the market can do, the 30-day battery life.
Mm.
So by doing so, you are able to get these deep insights at least for a month. And then if you just charge the watch up, it'll only take about an hour. Usually I tell people go and do it while you're in the shower and come out. By the time you come out of the shower, it already has a battery charge in it that's probably good for a couple of weeks. If you wait another hour, it's probably good for another month. And through that longitudinal data, you're not having disruptions. So a lot of times, people who have smartwatches that had demand more battery charging, they take them off at night. So by taking them off at night, you're not getting the sleep, you're not getting the full picture, which Withings products can do, both from a cardio checkup through our watches, as well as the sleep watching, as well as your activity level. And also, the other thing about our watches, they're called Scan Watch.
Mhm.
I'm wearing one right now. Every 10 minutes, it is tracking your heart for an arrhythmia, for AFib. And then at that point, there you could do an ECG on your wrist right away, or an SpO2 reading on the wrist. Again, Apple can do that as well. But what we're doing is sending a signal through and making sure we don't see anything that's abnormal.
Well, it's incredible the amount of devices. Just a hopeful question on my part. Looking at Omnia, I've signed up to be one of the first to get noticed because I definitely want to get that. Are you looking next year? Do you see this 2, 3 years down the road? Any guess if you were to make a estimate?
It's very hard to put a guess on it, but the good news is the AI component to that and the information that we're able to put to bring all that information in to aggregate it all. That is something that is going to be available in our app through our Withings Plus app, which is essentially a plus up version, a subscription based. That is only something if people want that extra feature set. And if so, we're able to give a health score on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis and let people know how they can make changes in their nutrition and in their exercise, serve up recipes, serve up exercise routines, and be able to really be a health coach within the app. Again, that is available through Withings Plus, and that will be available, we hope, this fall, but definitely by holiday.
So coming out by the end of the year, you've got the UScan, you've got the BMO,
Yeah.
and the app right now is available. So I can pretty
Yep.
much start to integrate the various things from let's say, the sleep monitoring, the body scan, the watch,
Yep.
and the blood pressure.
That's right. And one thing I do want to add, because there's so many features here. Um, in our app right now for Withings Plus, for any of our cardio products, if you wanted to get a cardio, we have a product called Cardio Checkup. If you wanted to have a doctor, a cardiologist, review your electrocardiogram that we capture in Withings products with our wearables or our body scan, you can use this. It's a fee that's within the app. It's like $40, I believe. And then you share that with a cardiologist, and the cardiologist can then take a look at your ECG and give you a reading. And this is something that can happen very quickly rather than having to wait to have a cardiologist appointment. And I think this really comes into play where people who are having any heart issues or whatnot, or don't feel like something is upset and they can't get a doctor's appointment.
I tell you, it's really exciting. I think you guys are on the cutting edge of medicine 2.0, because that's exactly what we're doing these days is we're monitoring stuff, all these kind of things that we're learning that we can shape our health rather than wait to you have a disease or something goes wrong. It's kind of preventative, which I think is better.
Yeah, absolutely. The company's mission is be about preventative. It's all about the care, not the cure. Try to take care of your health beforehand so you don't need the cure. That's the goal.
All right. Well, listen, if our listeners would like to find out more about these devices, and people know that if I recommend something, it's because I'm using them and I believe in them, and I do believe in your products. Like I said, the most exciting thing is your blood pressure monitoring system
Thank you.
because I want to get off blood pressure medication and we're going in that direction. It's dropping. But my cardiologist, he's a doctor, before he takes you off pills, he wants to see proof of the progression. And I'm excited about that. So why don't you give out your website?
Sure. Our website is withings.com. So it's Withings. And on there you can find all the information on our wearables, our scales, our blood pressure monitors, our sleep tracking mats, and our thermometers, and any upcoming products like UScan, BMO, and even Omnia for that matter. And then if you want to make a purchase, you could purchase there at withings.com. You can also find our products at Amazon, Target, at Best Buy. So they're available for people if they just want to walk down to their next retailer and pick them up today.
Well, they're super, and I highly recommend them. Paul, I want to thank you for joining us on the program. I love what you're doing. I'm actually quite excited about it to see this
Thank you.
kind of progression because this fits into medicine 2.0, in my opinion. Well
Thank you
done.
so much. Thank you so much. And we're creating new products every year to improve people's lives. So we hope that all your listeners take advantage of some of these great products.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the
you.
program. All the best.
Thank you so much.